Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Capricorn in September 2020. What is going on, Capricorn? How are you guys doing? I hope that you are doing well. All right, friends, welcome to September. Hopefully, wherever you are in the world right now, Capricorn, you are safe, happy, healthy, and secure. Please continue to take very good care of yourselves and each other, people that you know and you love at this time, because, you know, there is a still a global pandemic going on. And oh, look at that. You've got a little bit of a flipper here. Didn't even know that. Moon card, some of you could be dealing with a Pisces, but maybe there's some emotional uncertainty in your energy or in a situation right now that you're dealing with. Could be they're giving me this energy of like emotional manipulation or just, struggling to make sense of things. Something like that, okay? But let's go ahead and get into the regular spiel. Capricorn, anything you want from me, it is already in the description box. If you're looking for the timestamp, it is down there. Information on how to purchase a personal reading with me, that is down there as well. If you have a question before you place an order, just go ahead and email me at the same address and I'll answer you as soon as I can. And if you're interested in following me on Instagram, the name over there is EmpathicFire Tarot, and there is a link for that in the description box as well. Someone reached out to me recently and asked about donations, so I'm telling all signs and all these videos for September that if you're interested in doing a donation to the channel, you could use the PayPal or Cash App link down below. If you do ever send anything over in the form of a donation, just please write a little note in the memo space or somehow communicate to me that it is intended as a donation. That would be greatly appreciated if you choose to. Of course, donations are purely voluntary. And if you like what you see here today, and if you want to support the channel in another way, feel free to like, share, subscribe, and comment here, okay? All right, let's get into it. Capricorn, Capricorn, Capricorn. I would like to see Capricorn's outcome for September 2020. Capricorn's outcome in September 2020, please show me. Okay, bottom of the deck is the overall energy. And we'll take it like that. Let's flip what came face down for you. Okay. Okay. A lot of majors, I think. Yeah. Okay, let's get into it. Please show me where Capricorn is in September 2020. Please show me Capricorn in September 2020. Please show me. Okay. One more time, please. Please show me. All right, we got it. All right, Capricorn, you come into the reading with the energy of the Three of Wands. So, looking to make headway on something, looking to make progress in your life, finally get something off of the ground, or perhaps you're expecting something coming into you, a package, a message, some type of result or preliminary result, something like that. And based on whatever's coming or going into your life or wherever you may be headed or returning to or what have you, there's just this energy of expecting. Some of you could be expecting, I'm just basing that off of the fact that I said expecting 3 times. So some of you, there might be a pregnancy that's pivotal or important to your storyline. But if not, it's still this energy of waiting for something or looking and anticipating. That's the word, anticipating and expecting, right? I feel there's a lot of desire here because at some previous point you've made a decision, you've put in energy and effort, you have signed on to something, you've been released from something or walked away from something, whatever. And it's just now let's get on with it. There's this energy of what comes next. How do I proceed going forward? You are questioning what should I be looking for, or what am I expecting here, or what should I be expecting? Thank you. That's interesting because I feel it's fairly recent that has happened, maybe within the past few months, even weeks for some of you, that there's been sort of like this flip of, maybe not a flip of a switch, but there's been a certain turn in your energy, in your situation or circumstances, in the relationships that you have, where I think we're going to contextually talk a lot about what has happened leading up to this moment, and maybe we'll get a little bit about what might happen after this moment. But where you're standing, Capricorn, it's like, you know, again, it's anticipating. You know something is coming. You're feeling the change. You've put in the work that would drum up the change, what that would bring something in towards you, or allow an opportunity or a scenario to come towards you. You know it's there, but maybe you can't see it yet. Maybe that's it. It hasn't taken shape. And so maybe you're like, that could be where the expectation comes from. That could be where some of you might be feeling a little anxious because you don't exactly know when it will arrive, what it's going to look like, who's going to be involved. You know, all that stuff is very unknown, but the desire and the imperative, it feels very important that this opportunity, this circumstance, this relationship, whatever you're expecting to come or go, it has to happen soon. It's like, okay, it makes the most sense based off of what you have introduced into the situation or given to the situation previously. You know something is about to come or go. Okay, could be you, could be yourself, you could be traveling or not traveling, I don't know. Or it's something, I hope, I'm speaking very generally because I don't know what area we're talking about just yet, but I think if it resonates, it's already resonating, okay? So let's see what else happens for Capricorn. That was pretty easy. I don't, okay, they're like bringing me back. The very traditional understanding of the Three of Wands is that it is self-made energy, or it's propagated or initiated energy. And I do feel that's true. I do feel many of you have had a very direct hand in whatever you know is about to happen, or something is, again, coming into your life or leaving your life, because you had a hand in doing it. So they want me to put that there as well. It's not like you've been twiddling your thumbs, standing by idly and letting other things or other people take control of your life or make decisions in your life. You have been at the helm. So they want me to underline that. Because you've put action towards something, okay? So what else happens for Capricorn? Please show me. Yeah, so okay. So, okay, that's very, very easy. You might have a pretty easy reading considering the bulk of the readings I've done for the month so far. So what you've decided upon, the Lovers. Major Arcana for Gemini. Some of you could be dealing with a Gemini, but you don't have to be. And on its face, this looks very much like a decision in love. So for many of you, it is, but it doesn't have to be. If this is a business decision that you've made, or a decision that you've made just within yourself based on your own behaviors or habits, and you're trying to change that or alter that in some type of way, then that could also apply to the idea of choosing. But for many of you, it will be a romantic choice, or a choice between intimate partners. And when I say intimate partners, I'm not meaning purely sexual or romantic. I mean, you could be choosing or making big decisions regarding other family members or people that you care for, such as friends, very, very close friends, something like that. And what I'm sensing here is, if I'm honest, Capricorn, this energy at some point was very blissful to you. Whatever relationship or situation that you were in, it was sort of like a dream come true. It felt it feels very passionate at some point. It feels very connected. I feel like if this was a romantic partner, or, again, it could be a best friend or a family member, minus the sexual component, you really felt you were complete when you were with this person, or around them, or spent time with them, or worked with them, or frolicked in the sea next to a bunch of dolphins with them, whatever. And I think that is very much the past for many of you. If not, it's still going on, or there's still this potentiality for it to be there. But for most of you, this feels like it's not this way anymore. And now, because the honeymoon is over, so to speak, the rose-tinted glasses have come off, there is a stark reality that you find yourself in, and it's not pleasant. And because is no longer pleasant, pleasurable, exciting, passionate, loving, caring, nurturing, all those things that we could assume exist here. Now, because that's not happening, there's just like this detached feeling that I am sensing here. You want to detach if you haven't already done it, or you did it and now that explains why you're in this Three of Wands energy opening up the reading, where you're like, okay, I'm over that now. And maybe this sounds callous, or as if you don't care. I think you do. Or okay, thank you. They're like, you did. And they're like, you did. So a lot of the pleasantries, a lot of the niceness of whatever this situation is, whatever kind of connection this is between you and another person or a group of people, because again, it can be like between friends or family members. The love isn't necessarily lost, but the pleasantry is lost. You know, the wanting to be the nicer person, or being gentle. Like there's something here about gentleness, and like that's not here. And it feels correct. It feels warranted. It feels as though you, and I'm addressing this to Capricorn. Let me go ahead and, do my little speech that this is a general, so it can go the other way. So if you're a cross watcher, or you yourself, Capricorn, know you're not really the person that has made this detached decision. It's really, it's a general, so it can be open to different perspectives or different points of view. So not all Capricorns are the people that are experiencing this, but I'm going to read it that way because it is a Capricorn reading. If you need to flip it, feel free to flip it. Now, choice, it's already actually made, and I'm sensing what we're about to talk about is the fallout of the choice. And in some cases, it wasn't even like a choice, like a proactive choice. In many of your cases, this was a forced hand because of what was transpiring as the brightness and the gentleness and the love and the affection and all of the wonderfulness of the Lover's card was draining. That energy, number one, in general, never lasts. Whether we're talking out beyond tarot, right? Beyond just that card coming up and me doing this reading at this moment. That is true of all relationships. You get on and you have a great time when you first meet somebody, and you look forward to seeing them. They look forward to seeing you, hanging out, meeting up, hooking up in some cases, whatever it is. And then as a certain amount of time passes, could be a couple of weeks, could be several years, eventually that becomes normalized. That relationship becomes normalized, and it needs to be recalibrated. What I'm sensing here is that process of recalibration, of finding equilibrium after the honeymoon phase, after all of the excitement and the fun and just the passion of the situation was gone, or at least diminished, if not gone, diminished, less prioritized. That's when shit went wrong, or is going wrong right now for some of you. If I'm forecasting for some of you, if you're in that blissful moment now, I hope I'm not forecasting for you, but tuck this away, keep this, in the back of your mind as time goes on. But what this feels like is, after all of that jolliness, wow, interesting. Jolliness, that's such an interesting choice of words that my guides are like pushing through to me. But all of that jolliness and joy is gone. Now it's just like, now what? Well, here's what. One side has a lot of resolve and possibly a lot of fight. Or, no, a lot of principle. Okay. And the other side is just like, not about that life. So what I'm sensing here, and this can happen. Okay, so that's why this is happening. They want me to acknowledge that there's a group here. And if you've been with me for a while, you already know the caveat. So I'm going to say this and then I'm going to give a caveat. But some of you are dealing with soulmate relationships of any type. Soulmate, karmic partner, divine partner, twin flame, whatever label you choose, that's your label. You may put it here. But my caveat is this. Whatever that type of connection you think you have, please keep in mind that when it happens in a tarot reading done by Jay, it's not always meant to be pleasant. So we might end up talking about somebody that you at one point were madly in love with or were so enamored with, and now you hate their guts, and vice versa. That is very possible in soulmate connections, okay? All soulmate relationships are not always positive. from the beginning to the end, or the positive aspects don't always last the entire length of the relationship. The other caveat with that is that a soulmate, divine partner, again, twin flame, whatever your label is, okay, I don't hate on it. You can use whatever label you want. It's your life. But also keep in mind that those relationships are not always lifelong, right? Or they're not always going to last as long as you would hope or think that they are, okay? So now that the caveat is out of the way, this may well have been a very strong soulmate connection for you, and still might still be a very strong soulmate connection. And there's like a ensnared feeling because you see how close they are. Like, it's like they're dancers or something. And when you're dancing or like ice skating or anything like that with a partner, you have to be in sync with one another, and you have to be on the same page, and you have to understand the routine or the dance that you're trying to create, right? So that was going on. Now that you guys aren't on the same page, the dance is off, the routine is totally jacked, and I feel one side is kind of like, well, let's go ahead and scrap it. I feel that's more your side, Capricorn, and the other side is just like a little more volatile. A little, yes, yep, they're like, go ahead. A little more volatile. 7 of Swords. So what I'm sensing here is this is the person and or the action that has contributed to the dismantling or the dysfunction of this connection. And again, it does not have to be romantic, because for some of you, quickly right through here, I feel a strong family member. Like I'm feeling a closeness between siblings, or like a parent-child relationship in some of your cases. And then also, I'm feeling all types of relationships. So I just want to open it up and again remind you that soulmate connections do not always have to be romantic, okay? Regardless, someone here, again, it could be you, is, if I'm honest, Capricorn, like a little unhinged, okay? And I don't know how deeply or impactful that word is to you. I feel, that is a word that can go so many ways. But what I'm sensing is someone who lies but doesn't know that or who doesn't believe that they lie. Someone who lies, manipulates, cheats, steals, in some cases, theft. And I normally don't say theft with the 7 of Swords. It's a traditional interpretation of this card, but I rarely say theft. But someone here, totally a thief, totally a thief. So all those things, but then denies it or actually doesn't believe it. And I think that I don't know, don't quote me, or, just do a Google search and see if I'm, blowing smoke. But I feel like there's a condition, or I guess you would call it a sociopath, right? Someone who does a bad thing and doesn't believe it's bad. Does something that has arduous and negative consequences to it, but doesn't acknowledge it or doesn't feel guilty about it. So this is someone who, just using a turn of phrase, gets away with murder, or is trying to get away with murder, right? Again, I don't think that's literal, but my readings often go to very scary topics. So, and I'm laughing because it's just, I never intended that to happen in my journey as a tarot reader, but it comes up a lot. Life and death scenarios. Anyway, hopefully that's not your case. Hopefully that's not the case for any of you, but if it is, my condolences. Hopefully you and everyone you know and love are safe. But the connotation here, or the feeling here, is that someone that you were dealing with of great significance, possibly for your entire life, if I'm thinking about friends or close family members, right? It feels like it just got to this point where eventually you called this person on their crap. And look at hopefully we can get this to focus. Look at the look on this guy. Look at the scowl on his face. It's like, when you catch someone stealing, because that's what we can kind of see, right? It looks like he's trying to sneak away. Hey, you, stop. Put those swords down. They don't belong to you. Look at his face. He looks indignant. He looks like How dare you call me out? How dare you accuse me of stealing? Or, oh, you caught me and I'm angry that you caught me. Like, I feel, it's not always the case, but I assume when someone is caught in the middle of an act, an illegal act, they might be angry, yes, but they're often scared. They often might cry or plead or beg. Oh, please don't turn me in. Please, no, this was a mistake. I know it was wrong, and they go into that, please forgive me, or please let me go, or please don't call the cops, or da 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 da, right? This person doesn't do that. This person is like holding on to possessions, if they're a thief, taking them from the scene of the crime and acting like, how dare you try and stop me in the middle of my robbery? How dare you? It's like, you're a thief. You're taking what doesn't belong to you. So it's like that. They don't care. They're very like, how dare you get in my way? How dare you stop me from doing this action or accuse me of this? Maybe that's it. Okay, so maybe that's another thing. Because I'm not sensing in many of your cases where this is thievery or some type of theft that this person did to you, I don't get the sense that you necessarily caught them red-handed. I think it's a matter of deduction. I think it's a matter of something went missing, and it is most likely this person who took that item or took those items or took the money, in some of your cases, money, right? And you never saw them. You never saw them with your eyes. You never caught them on camera. You don't have any type of proof. And so this person is like, well, you can't prove that. And it's kind of like, that's a weird thing to say. If you accuse a person of stealing or doing any wrongdoing, if they say, well, you can't prove it, that's not usually what someone says if they're innocent. If you're an innocent person, you normally would say something like, well, I didn't do that, or why would you think that, or I would never, or what? Or they might be like, again, scared. It might be like this, I never could, there's a lot of different tells. And again, I'm not like a forensic psychologist or anything, or a police detective, but the whole, well, you can't prove that. Well, what do you mean I can't prove it? Why should I have to prove it? Well, you can't prove that. Okay. So like, to me, if someone said that to me, like that's immediately suspect. Immediately. How, you can't prove that. What? It's like testing you. It's like egging you on. Prove it. If you think that's true, go ahead and prove it. Very, very sassy this person could be. So that could apply to, of course, thievery. That also applies to lying, cheating, manipulation. Okay. In terms of manipulation, I'm getting like, gossiping and like, spinning tales and dragging your name or her name or his name or whoever's name through the mud, making up rumors or perpetuating rumors, something like that. This energy, very immature. I don't care how old they are. I don't care what, titles they hold in society. They could be a freaking, public defender. They could be a judge. They could be, a police officer. They could be whatever role or job or position in the world that we assume a person is a truth teller. They're not. This person is very immature in that way. Again, maybe a sociopath. I don't really, again, I'm not a psychologist. I didn't study that. I have no degree in it, but that's what that feels like, a sociopath. And I'm not diagnosing, so please don't take it to the bank. You do your own research. You figure it out on your end. But that's what that feels like to me. Somebody who acts in their impulsively. They know that what they're doing will affect other people badly. They know what they're doing will create chaos or consequences, but they don't own it. They don't they don't feel responsible. They know they are the cause, but they don't feel responsible. It's very, oh boy, come on. Major Arcana, the Chariot in reverse. Major Arcana for Cancer. Some of you are dealing with a Cancer, but you don't have to be. I'll turn this card upside right so you can get a better look at it, as I don't use this deck very often here on the channel anymore. But, so I feel as though this person... Capricorn, if I'm honest, they're not really worth much. And I know that might sound really insensitive, or that might even contradict to some of you this idea of them being a soulmate to you. Soulmates do mean a lot. because they're impactful in our lives. They trigger things in us. They mirror things to us. They help us grow on a spiritual level. And that is all important. But as far as in the day-to-day 3D experience of being a human on planet Earth, this person really ain't that much. Like, again, even if they're someone who's in a very prominent position in society, or they have a very prestigious job title, as the quality of how they exhibit certain qualities that are favorable or desirable, or just all around quote unquote good, they don't really have it. What's that called? Like, I know some of you are thinking like narcissist, and maybe that's true, but there's something else here. Oh, freak. What is that called? I mean, maybe it's, again, I think narcissism comes on a spectrum. I'm not sure. Or there's different types of narcissism, and I assume there would be different types of sociopath or whatever. I feel that this person may have an inability, like biologically speaking, physiologically speaking, emotional maturity, like something like that, where they kind of have hit a ceiling. They've hit a cap. Because the chariot is about progress. The chariot is about being able to move beyond what is not serving you, being able to transcend, being able to navigate towards a better future, better prospects for yourself. With this chariot in the reverse, I feel we have someone who has peaked in whatever level of maturity, emotional intelligence, sensitivity towards others, empathy or sympathy towards others. Whatever this person has, that's it. If you or anyone else thinks that this person is deeper or more complex or has, so much more potential, they don't. They do not. They are, that's it. If we quantify it on a scale of 1 to 10, if they are rocking a 5, that's it. They're never going to break a 5, or at least not unless they decide to do that. And what I'm sensing from this combination of cards, the 7 of Swords and the Chariot in the reverse, they don't want to. What they would want is for people to stay out of their way. What they want is for people to get out of their business. What they want is for people, again, I assume this is a tactic of a sociopath, is the same things that they're accused of, they accuse others. They what's that called? Projection or deflection, whatever. So if you say they're a thief, they say, well, you're a thief. You stole that from me. And you're like, I never stole from you. And it's just like this crazy, like, back and forth where you can't get anywhere with this person. So this combination, I don't care, again, how old they are, how successful they are in their personal life, in their professional life, I don't care. To the core, and I'm being really hard on this person, whoever they are, because they deeply, and that's why, because they deeply affect you because of this soulmate connection, right? Again, whatever the type. If they're your twin flame, I'm sorry. You're going to have to really consider whether you want to continue on with that journey or not. If they're your karmic partner, maybe it's a little bit easier, or maybe you'd be able to kind of digest this a little bit differently, whatever the type. But that's why I'm like so hard on this person, because I can feel how much you want to. Some of you might be wishing, I wish I never met this person. I wish we never got married. I wish we never became friends. I wish we never slept together. I wish we weren't even born into the same family. Whatever the situation is, there's like this deep I wish, but the context of your connection from a spiritual standpoint is deeply enmeshed, deeply rooted. And there's a purpose to that for you, for them. Now, you're the one watching this, Capricorn, I'm assuming, if not the cross watcher. Whoever's watching this, your journey is totally different. You're aware of this, or you're wanting to be aware of this, or you're wanting to understand this. This person, their journey as of now, ignorance. This person is not interested in growing. Again, with the Chariot, they're not interested in moving beyond whatever they have. Wherever they are, however they behave, however they show up, they like it that way. They are satisfied with it. And it's not their readings, and I don't clarify, but I'm assuming if this person is not a sociopath, because sociopaths, I believe, are really hard to work with. I feel like they're very hard to get out of those tendencies or that diagnoses or whatever. I don't know. Again, I'm not a professional. But if they're not that, they might eventually turn around, come to some epiphany, wake up or realize something or experience something in their own path, in their own life that will cause them to change trajectories or move differently in their life. Something like that. But as of now, as they show up in this reading, no way. And it's not your job. So some of you are like having concern. It's not your job. Forget about it. And it's not to say forget about this person. Forget about trying to change them. Worry about yourself. Boom. There it is. Yes. Worry about yourself. Death card. Major Arcana for Scorpio. Some of you could be dealing with a Scorpio, but you don't have to be. You have a lot of... Okay, so let me address that really quickly. You have several major arcana. So I'm going to call out several different signs. That's again talking to that would talk to the scope of what this is. This affects you primarily, and that has been coming up also in several readings that I've done for the month. And I can't remember if any of these signs had a similar message within it. But what has come up is there might be a core of 2 people or a close-knit, network of people, 2 to 3 or 4 people, right? But there's a rippling effect where other people like cousins or friend of friends or business partners or other clients might be affected by this. So that could be why there's so many different signs showing up. So please, again, just think of it that way. Don't think like, well, I'm not with any of these signs, so it doesn't matter. No. You might have a Scorpio, second cousin who, somehow is connected to the story, but whatever. So this is more for you, this death energy. This is change. This is transformation. This is letting go and moving on. Okay. You can think of that in terms of mortality. I used to say this a little bit more often earlier. I think in 2019, I was saying it a lot when the death card was coming up. Death as a phenomenon here in our physical world, in our physical reality. A lot of people struggle with it because it's the sudden ending of something when you don't want it to end most of the time. Many of us, when we have a loved one who passes away, we're very sorrowful and we're very affected by it because we want more time with that person, or we didn't want to see them suffer, or we will miss them, right? Same concept within tarot when we talk about death. There is a death, an ending to something, but you don't want there to be, or you struggle with releasing it, right? What I also say is embracing it. I don't want to go down that path because I'm not sensing this is about mortality, but maybe I will touch on it. For me, and you don't have to agree clearly, the death of another person, even though we struggle with it to let them go and we will miss them and we become very sad, ultimately a great way to help process through someone passing away is to embrace death, to realize that that's where it comes in, to realize that even as I'm sad that they're leaving, I embrace their transition, right? I embrace that this person, again, you don't have to believe what I believe, has moved on to something else. That's my personal belief. I'm not a heaven and hell type person. It's not that. But I don't believe that when you die in this life, that's it. There's way more to be had out there for your spirit, for your soul, whatever you believe in or don't believe in, or you're just like, Jay, you're crazy. And I'm like, okay, cool. You don't have to believe this. But it's something like that here. So there is a chance here, or rather, I think you would be served. Yes, they're like, it would serve you. It would behoove you to embrace this moment. Embrace this ending. If you feel fine with it, because some of you are like, I don't know what you're talking about, Jay. I have embraced it. I'm over it. Then other people around you, or perhaps this person, maybe they're a little resistant, and that would complicate matters even more. Not only are they kind of a piece of work to deal with, they don't want to get gone. They don't want to accept that things are over. Maybe in some of your cases. Jesus. And that then would speak back to what I was talking about a second ago, about how when we lose someone that we love, either through, them passing away, or a breakup, or a separation, or losing touch, becoming estranged, having an argument and blocking and all that kind of stuff, same types of grieving can occur. I think I've read a couple articles about that. Like this phenomenon of ghosting can kind of mimic, emotionally speaking, some of the same symptoms that we experience when someone passes away. Because it happens suddenly, you don't know anything, you never hear from them again, and you're left wondering why. What happened? Was it something I said? Was it something I did? Da 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 da. And you have all these questions. It's a very similar experience, right? So if you did that to someone, Capricorn, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have, but this could be what's happening. If you ghosted someone, totally deaded that shit, just totally annexed them from your life, they might be going through something. And they're bitter about it, number one. And I think we were talking about that earlier, so I don't really need to repeat myself. But that may have put that person into a sort of state of suffering. Which again, what was I saying about them being in the Chariot in reverse? If they have not been enlightened, that could be something that helps them become enlightened. And I'm not saying that to applaud you, and I'm not saying like that's what you're supposed to do. That's what all of yours. No, it's just a byproduct of what you decide to do. Regardless of how they feel, regardless of what they choose to do after, hopefully they're not, harassing you or anything like that or stalking you. I don't think so, but just in case they are, how you choose to go about this change and transformation in your life, in your journey, that's your business. How they feel, how they react, that's their business, right? But regardless, I feel you have a resolve over here, most of you. Some of you, it's not there yet, this appreciation or, like I said, embracing of death. Some of you are a little resistant because I feel some of you know it's over, but you don't accept that it's over. And that's a part of grief, isn't it? Or the grieving process, yeah? And that change and transformation is possibly on a delay for you. I feel eventually the majority of Capricorns that are resonating with this message, you're going to go through this death and change and transformation through the death process. And if you don't know much about the death card or Scorpio archetypes, because again, this is associated with Scorpio, Scorpio is the sign of rebirth. Scorpio is the sign of transformation, ruled by Pluto. Scorpio is the sign of the phoenix, the mythical bird, the phoenix, right? And what is the phoenix? It burns, it dies by fire. It burns to death into a pile of ash. And then out of that ash comes a little egg, and out of that egg comes another phoenix. The same soul, the same spirit, the same thing that existed before, but it went through a horrific process, right? So Scorpio has that trajectory in their whole life period paragraph, right? They go through all kinds of rebirth processes. I feel that's what's going on here for you. So you may, going back to what I was just saying about, the phoenix and it burns to ash, right? So you might lose a lot of things. This person may have stolen something from you that you cannot replace. Time, money, energy, effort, right? Property, maybe they stole your car, totaled it. Now you don't have a vehicle, and now because you don't have a vehicle, you can't get to work, and now because you can't get to work, you get fired, and because now that you've been fired, you can't afford your rent, and now because you can't afford your rent, you get evicted. You see? All because of this person. So some of you are going through an arduous, taxing, heavy, fucked up ending death process in your life. The resolve is knowing you will be reborn. That's the thing about death, the universe card, or excuse me, the world card. These are two cards that I can think of off the top of my head that are endings that almost simultaneously lead up to a new beginning. And that's sort of what we were talking about at your starting point with the Three of Wands. You know something is going out of your life, and at the same time, you're kind of wondering, well, what's coming into my life? You see what I mean? Final card in your main spread, Justice. So for some of you, straight up, divorce. No bones about it, divorce. Now, I'm saying no bones about it because, like, it doesn't need, well, we will get further interpretation, but for those where this was a marriage, ending in a divorce, in many of your cases. or you're starting proceedings for a divorce or a separation or whatever you need to do. And I don't say it so strongly as in it's a given or that it's easy for you. It's not. I know it's not. Okay? You're not a machine. You're a human being with, complex feelings and emotions in regarding this situation, regarding this connection. But let me tell you, and some of you, okay, there it is. Okay. I want to address those where you feel you met your soulmate, your twin flame, what have you, and you're finding yourself facing separation from this person or divorce from this person or some type of ending with this person. You don't understand it. Again, I told you this before. And that's why I don't like to use that word very often on my channel, at least not without the caveats. Someone here is feeling very hurt that I'm speaking about divorcing very plainly. And in their heart, in their mind, in their soul, they know I'm talking about their soulmate. And I already told you. And I'm trying to be compassionate, but I'm also fired up and kind of a defensive because this person over here, your soulmate, whoever it is really not a nice person at this time. Again, I already told you, things may have been blissful before with that Lover's card, but what has been transpiring recently is nothing but crap. Based on that alone, it's time to go. It's time for us to separate. Maybe one day we'll get back together, maybe not. But, and that's the thing about the soulmate connection. You have to appreciate what it does for your life. And some of you are like, well, what the hell am I supposed to appreciate by somebody who destroyed my life? Or by somebody, how could I appreciate someone who cheated on me, who made me feel like shit, who abused me, who used me, who robbed me, whatever? I can't answer that for you, but the Justice card is here both in the capacity of law of the land, law here on our physical plane, and karmic law, karmic justice. There's something in there for you. I don't know what that is. I don't think it's going to happen to you overnight or it's going to be revealed to you overnight because look, again, it comes right next to that Three of Wands where you know something is out there for you, some type of consolation, some type of new opportunity, some new possessions or new home or whatever. Something is coming to you and you know it's there, but you can't see it. I think I said that. You can't see it. But it's out there. It's karmically promised to you. That's a part of your journey with this person. And I've been there. Trust me, I've been there. It don't feel good to experience it. Me telling you telling you this isn't really helping in many of your cases. You're kind of like, well, that's a bunch of bullshit. Or you're just like, it's hard for you to reconcile with that information at this time. And again, I've been there. But what I can tell you in the aftermath of something not exactly like this, it wasn't exactly like this, but it's similar where I thought it was like a real good thing I had and then it turned into not such a good thing and I thought, oh my God, my life can't get worse. Let me tell you, friend, my life has gotten better. And I really thought after that person left my life, I would never get back to some type of contentment, some type of joy, some type of feeling at peace and ease and fulfillment in my life. Boy, was I wrong. I was wrong. So here, you're going through something very similar. So at the moment, as the court papers are being filed, as arguments might still be happening, as someone might still be aggravating to you, spinning lies about you, or trying to protect themselves at all costs and throwing you and everybody under the sun under the bus, whatever, it doesn't feel great at this moment. Give it time. Give it time. Outcome. Whew. For September for you, Capricorn, is the Four of Pentacles. Well, here you go. So here you go. I feel some of you will be recouping something. So if this person, not that they're paying you back directly, in some case, like very few cases, the person who took from you will return something to you. In a few of your cases, just a few. In other cases, you might get something back from insurance policies. You might get something back because, you can prove you're not the person that damaged this or you're not the person that was the culprit, basically. So you kind of clear your name. It feels like you're able to clear your name in some of your cases. In other cases, this is about repossession. Interesting. Okay. So in the story where I said someone had stolen a car and like they totaled it, in some cases they may have stolen something from you and they didn't get rid of it, or it's not damaged, it's not gone, they just still have it. This is you being able to get that back. I don't know in what capacity, I don't know how safe it is, or under what conditions you're going to get it back. But there is something here about repossession. In other cases, this is just you fortifying yourself, laying, well, not laying, no, it's like halfway you're starting to lay the groundwork for something new, but then also still stacking chips or stacking your resources. Because as you see, this guy is hugged up on these pentacles, holding them close to his chest. So for some of you, your emphasis or your focus right now is to save money, is to save up to buy a home, or to be able to put a down payment, or excuse me, put money down towards a security deposit so you can move into your own apartment, something like that. Others of you, this is about stabilizing yourself at work, stabilizing yourself, maybe some of you with your health, because Pentacles talk to things that we value in this life. So money, possessions, health, time, effort, things like that. So I feel you're being very strategic, but then also, I suppose your strategy is just to be on the defense. Be incredibly defensive. Now be careful with this, Capricorn. I'm not out here advising you to go out there and trust everybody under the sun after this person has done a number on you spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, perhaps, right? I'm not saying go out there and trust everybody you know or everybody that you meet. It's just this one person who's a scumbag. Everybody else on the planet Earth is a good person. No, I feel a lot of you, though, are extra defensive because of what's happened with them. And be careful with that, or at least be aware of it. Be aware that this person, again, it's a soulmate connection for many of you. That can be why they're here, is to trigger you, is to wake you up to possible woundings or conditionings, or they're the first person to break your trust. And that's supposed to do so. I don't know your journey. I don't know the specifics or the nuances of your life. That's up for you to decide and discern. However, I just want you to be cautious about how defensive you are, because you might miss out on some things. So if you, and that's the thing, it's relative. If this only happened a week ago, totally be highly defensive. If this happened 4 years ago, maybe it's time to ease up. You see what I mean? But then again, it's all relative to what you went through. You know what I mean? So, take everything I said with a grain of salt. You know your limits, you know yourself better than I do, okay? Overall energy for the month of September is the Ace of Swords. So yeah, man, clarity, truth. And I feel that is the bottom line of your storyline. Perhaps that is a part of your journey. Truth and clarity. What does that mean to you? How do you exemplify that for yourself? Or how have the relationships you've made in your life been built on or encompass the energy of truth and clarity? Have you always been truthful? Have you always been 100% above board in everything that you've done? Have you been at some point an underhanded person who was a liar, who was a manipulator, who was a cheater, who was a thief? And now that you're older and you've grown out of it, you might be in some ways attracting back to yourself what you previously were, to learn a lesson. I'm just spitballing. I'm not accusing. I don't know, again, the details, but I'm just saying it could be something like that. But at the core of what this situation is, and I think for many of you, not all, but many of you, there's something about being very open, honest, and declaring truth. Possibly in some of your cases, realization, or excuse me, awareness, thank you. Awareness. Some of you, yes. Okay. Awareness. For those where this Ace of Swords is more representing awareness, I feel you made excuses for this person. You excused their bad behavior. You were not aware that you just didn't want to. And that makes sense. When you know a person, you love a person, you possibly feel they're your soulmate or, divine partner, twin flame, whatever it is, right? It's hard to call that person for their bad deeds because you love them so much. And that Ace of Swords is telling you, be aware. Be aware. Have a wider scope, have a wider perspective on who this person is, who that person is, and the different ways that you guys are interconnected, or the reasons why you're interconnected. You might have thought, we're marrying each other, that's it, I've locked this down, it's the rest of my life, and then boom, not so much. and your awareness about what that means or how that has affected you, or why you were living your life with this idea that, no offense, in many cases I could understand why you would wish that, or believe that your marriage, your relationship, what have you, your friendship was going to last forever. I can understand that. But if it doesn't, you might have to reinterpret your own awareness or your own perception of that. Okay? Capricorn, my gosh, what a reading. That is it for September. If you liked what you saw here, please hit the like button. If you want to leave a comment, let me know how this resonated in your life. I'd love to read that. Feel free to share the video. And if you have, oh God, I can't even talk now at the end. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe now. If you want to join the community here, I've enjoyed meeting so many new people, and seeing you guys reach out to me is really, it's really fun, and I feel really honored to do this work. So if you want to support me in those ways, feel free to do any and all of those things. Again, if you want a personal reading with me, that information is down in the description box. Capricorn, I'll be back in about 2 weeks to do the mid-September readings. Until then, my friends, thank you so much for watching. Take care.